But
Men and women, boys and girls, stretch all around the region of the United States, all around the world. Your two favorite co-hosts are back in action, ready to roll. I'm Ward Sewell, joined by the big man Cam, and we got some content for you today. So, episode 44. Thank you guys all for being here. And Cam, how are we doing, brother?
dude, excited to get into another episode of the Fat Katz podcast, Ward. Before we get into it, let me just get this out of the way. Find us on Spotify and YouTube. Just type in the Fat Katz podcast. It's KATZ. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at Fat Katz Pod. But yeah, man, we got a hell of a show for you guys today.
No doubt.
Another football offseason show. So I mean, we're getting a little bit goofy in here, but this is what we like, man. This is how we like it.
The boys are back and bringing the content for you, ladies and gentlemen. And
bringing the heat.
One cool thing, I know obviously everybody knows it's NFL Combine Week. And Cam, something I love about Combine Week is, and I know we're getting into it next week, but this is a 4 days or it's 3 days. It's an opportunity where you get to see these young men go from, say, making $2 million to $5 million. Like, you're going to see guys that jump from a late to a mid first rounder, or a day 2 pick to a day 1 pick, which you got to think about it, Cam. That's more money in their pocket at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Which, it's really cool to see guys, go out there. I wish everybody would participate. I know there are some guys that are not participating, but gotta love combine time, Cam.
For sure, man. Super excited to see these guys chase their dreams, man. Something that obviously me and you never got to do. So super cool to see it. Got a few shout outs real quick as we start off the show, Ward. Our guy Joe Morris, who I worked with his brother for years, works with my dad, got a sweatshirt, and we'll be posting the picture for Fat Katz. Justin Alfred got a hat. So Justin sent us a picture over. We'll post YouTube, big dog. Just want to remind everybody, the Back in Black collection is up and running. Doing some good numbers on it, Ward. A lot of people seem to like it. Gotten a lot of good reviews on it so far. But we got a merch drop coming. We got a 200 follower giveaway coming out the door once we get to 200.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 200 followers will get it at random. And also, if you share our post or share a clip or whatever, you'll get double the chances to get picked. So we'll clip that for everybody. But
and me and Cam will go to the drawing board too and put out an exact contest. We haven't done that yet. We'll have to sync up together and do that. But Cam, and Joe Morris, Big Joe, he was the one that posted the pictures on Instagram, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, totally different guy actually. Joe Morris sent me a picture. I'm posting it today.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, he's Andrew.
I know Justin ordered a hat as well. Justin told me about that. We haven't shout out Cam. I believe it's maybe one of your uncles that posted a picture on Instagram.
Yes.
So, yeah, but that was awesome. We got the fan support's out there, Cam, and
man.
The boys are getting up there. We're excited. There's two, we got a Charlotte boy and a Raleigh boy. We record it virtual, but we make it happen, big dog.
Yeah, love it. So I do want to say thank you to everybody who's gotten stuff. It means the world to us that you guys would go out of your way to support us. So we really appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. And Cam, real quick before we get into the episode, I want to let our listeners know, and I want to let you know, as of yesterday around this time, I am now a part of a Tri-Sports 7-on-7 football team. And our first game is next Tuesday. A couple friends of the podcast are on that team, Cam. Justin Alfred, we were just talking about him. Justin's going to be our tight end.
Okay.
Seth Williams, early pod days, Seth Williams. He's going to be on there. He's going to be our starting linebacker. We're going to have fun, man. We're going to have fun. I'm trying to think.
Did Drew Holmes check? Is Drew Holmes check too big?
Drew didn't make the team, unfortunately. And it wasn't because of talent. Drew would have been probably one of the best ones on the team. But, second best one on the team. I'm here still. But I'm just kidding. Anyway, Drew, he works late on Tuesdays. We play every Tuesday night. And Drew wasn't able to make the team. But we have 11 people on our team, Cam. So we'll see how we do. Never done 7-on-7 with Tri-Sports. So, one of the rules is I want your opinion on this. There's no spin moves allowed. That's one of the rules. If you try to spin, you're automatically down. So I guess it has something to do with the flags, but I'm excited, man. I'll have to keep you updated every Tuesday.
We need a weekly update. We need a score update, stuff update. It's funny you say that word. I haven't told you this. Last week, I started coaching quarterbacks for a 7-on-7 team.
Let's go,
Charlotte. So I was not a part of the brawl that we'll talk about later. But
that's
yeah,
awesome, man. That's awesome. We actually have a quarterback on our team, on our 7-on-7 team. He played at Winthrop, I believe is what the school is.
Okay.
Heard of Winthrop?
Yeah.
I think that's out towards or is that South Carolina? I don't even know where it is.
I have no clue, to be honest with you.
Well, he played quarterback there, and he's going to be our quarterback. We have our first team practice tomorrow night. But
okay.
Before we get in the podcast, if any of our competition in the 7-on-7 league, in my league or Cam's league is listening, do not run skinny post over the middle. That's all I have to say. Because we are here. We're going to have a reputation. We may not be the best team, but we're going to be the hardest hitting team. And if you run a skinny post over the middle, hear me out now. There's going to be a shoulder in your chest. So there we go.
Yeah, let me say, I've watched Ward play intramural 7-on-7. The flags don't matter to the young man. Like, two-hand touch doesn't matter. He's coming for blood, man. He's getting after it. But
I love it.
No, I'm super excited, man. That'll be fun to I might have to pop out for one of your games. Come up on a Tuesday.
They get competitive, so we'll see. From what I heard, it's very competitive. So
can we get Maddie out there doing some film for us?
Yeah, she's cheerleader Maddie. She's gonna be out there cheerleading. I'll have her with a little camera taking videos. I don't even know what position we're playing yet, but
I love it, man. That's awesome. Yeah. But as we get into it, man, we start off every episode with our first favorite and forgotten. If you're new to the channel, it is the first player that comes to mind that wore 44, your favorite player that wore 44, and somebody who's forgotten that wore 44. The jersey number corresponds with the episode number. So obviously 44 for episode 44. Ward, start us out, man. Who's your first 44 here?
Yeah, I like it, brother. So my first 44 this week, and anybody in Wake County, anybody in the eastern part of the state will know who this guy is. Darius Hodge played football with this guy in high school. He went on to play at Marshall. Wore 44 at Marshall. Then he was an undrafted free agent to the Cincinnati Bengals, wore 44 for the Bengals. And then he went from the Bengals to the Dolphins, wore 44 for the Dolphins as well. So Wake Forest legend, one of the best to ever do it out of Wake Forest High School. So Darius Hodge, you are the first 44 I thought about.
He tied the single season sack record for Marshall, right?
He did, yes. He broke the single season sack record for Marshall.
That's nuts, man.
Which is awesome.
Darius.
West Virginia guy.
Yep. My first, not as much of a personal connection, Pistol Pete Maravich, all-time leading scorer in college basketball history, and for like another week until Kalen Clark breaks his record. But yeah, Pistol Pete, first that comes to mind here. LSU legend, Ward.
Hey, one of the greatest guys to ever do it, Cam. As you know that, one of the greatest guys to ever do it. But anyway, Cam, my favorite this week, I think everybody knew this was coming. John Riggins, if anybody knows, but greatest Redskin of all time, I think. But that can be, there's a few arguments that can be made there. I think John Riggins is the greatest Redskin of all time. Connor James, you will have to give your opinion on that. But the cool thing about John Riggins, Cam, we play on Sundays. They used to say that Riggins would be in the hospital Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, get out Thursday, walk through Friday, travel Saturday, play Sunday. Apparently the guy didn't practice, Cam. So I always thought that was really cool to see. He put his body on the line. So favorite 44, Riggins.
The big rig, man.
Big rig.
If anybody was around pre-podcast days when I was doing the touchdown challenges on TikTok, the big rig made He made a lot of appearances on the touchdown list. But yeah, great. I agree. Greatest Redskin of all time. I don't think it's really relatively a question. My favorite is Jerry West. Went to WVU, the logo, one of the greatest Lakers of all time. My uncle Eddie played against this guy in high school.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Jerry West. When you think West Virginia sports, you think him, you think Randy Moss, and you probably think white chocolate. So Jerry West is definitely up there for me.
Jerry West is another one of the greatest all time to do it, Cam. But anyway, I actually do not have a forgotten this week, Cam. I had two favorites. I know I've been doing this lately. I apologize, but when I think of these cool jersey numbers, Cam, it's the first thing that comes to mind. So anyway, my second favorite this week is Kyle. I call him Juszczyk, but his last name is Juszczyk. He probably the greatest fullback in the NFL. Plays for the 49ers. You look at him; he's one of the only fullbacks that goes out there and catches the ball and makes plays. So Juice Check's a dog, and he's my favorite, or my second favorite this week.
Yeah, where do you think his wife has made the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl jackets yet?
That's a good question. Very good question.
If you don't know, his wife is an incredible designer. She makes clothes and stuff. She's awesome. But that was just a little jab at the Use Check family.
Yeah.
I've got two forgottens here, Ward. My first one is Ahmad Bradshaw, played running back for the Giants, but our second Marshall Thundering Herd to pop up on the list. One of those guys in the late or mid 2000s, played for Marshall, one of the best running backs in the history of the program. So, and then my other one is Christian Dixon, who I played with at Butler High School. He wore 44. Ward, this guy had 135 or 140 tackles his senior year. Went to Towson, then went to Middle Tennessee State. Played semi-pro for a year. Now he's doing YouTube and podcasting himself. So I want to give a shout out to Zeke the Freak. But yeah, Christian Dixon, going to be my last forgotten here.
I like it, brother. I like it.
And then as we transition, we got game balls this week. We got 2 game balls apiece for maybe the first time in this show's existence.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you start us off, Ward. Who's your first game ball?
Yeah, man. We're not in football season right now, so game balls are kind of limited. But so Cam, I turned on TV last night. I didn't know what I wanted to watch, and I started watching Capital One the match, and it was Rory McIlroy. God, I can't remember who he was
Max
playing
Holman.
against. Yeah, him. And then they were playing. They had 2 female partners. One of the females was a Stanford communications student. She was talking about all her comm classes. Anybody knows I was a communications student, so I thought that was pretty cool. But and then there was another teammate. But anyway, they were Max Homa and Rory / team. They were tied at 18. They go into 18. Rory hits a 130-yard chip shot to win the match. I fell asleep. I saw it on ESPN this morning. I thought it was awesome, Cam, because I've never had anywhere close to that. But if you're, that just shows how good Rory is, and just want to give a shout out to him. If you're sinking it from 130 yards, you're doing something better than us, Cam. So he has my game ball this week.
Yeah, I caught that as well last night. Didn't really watch much of the golf. I was flipping to it in between commercials for the Carolina-Miami game.
Yeah.
But I'll say Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley calling golf is electric.
Oh, I know.
If you got a chance to listen to the broadcast, it was awesome. Ernie Johnson, I can't believe how good he is at calling golf. Like, he could be a golf announcer.
Ernie Johnson's just good at everything, Cam.
But it was a super fun event. And night golf with the pros, like, you can see the ball go through the air.
I know.
Like, you don't lose the ball. It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jonathan was watching, and I'm sure we'll get his take on that. But my first game ball, speaking of Carolina, RJ Davis. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in a nail biter that shouldn't have been a nail biter, RJ Davis scored the Dean Dome record 42 points against Miami. He also had 6 rebounds.
Wow.
In a 75-71 effort against the Miami Hurricanes. Ward, they were up like 15 with 4 minutes to go. Miami tied it up at one point.
Wow.
But we don't need to talk about that. We need to talk about RJ Davis having 42 points. Dean Dome record.
Yep. I will say, not a Carolina guy, but hats off to you, RJ Davis. I know I watched a little bit of that game. I had a couple of buddies that were at that game posting videos. It did come down to the wire. So RJ Davis, good for you, brother. But next game ball this week, Cam, and I'm not sure if you've heard of this guy, Matt Rimpey. So he is a rookie defensive / enforcer hockey player for the New York Rangers. Cam, this guy has had 6 games. He's had 4 fights in those 6 games. This guy has spent more time in the penalty box, Cam, than he has on the ice. I think that's pretty cool. As a guy, we're fans of violent sports, and to see somebody go in there and defend their team. I don't like the New York Rangers at all. Can't stand the New York Rangers. As you can tell, they're in the Hurricanes conference. But hopefully Matt Rimpey, he did get knocked out the other night, but the man's trying. The man's going out there and he's throwing. You can't fight, or you can't win a fight if you don't start throwing punches, Cam. You got to go out there and try. Yep. So the guy's fighting, it's entertaining. So shout out that he gets a Fat Katz game ball from us, Cam.
There you I did see that, like, his first game. First of all, enforcer's like a dying breed in hockey. Like, there's not
Yes.
many left.
Well,
So
they get in
young
so
guy,
much trouble for fighting now. The National Hockey League doesn't let them fight. They get
yeah.
fined.
But
It's bullshit,
I
man.
think, which I think is crazy that they fine him. But I think football and basketball should take a page out of hockey's book. Like,
I know. Let them
we need
fight.
to let them fight. Yeah, let them
Let
fight.
the boys fight.
But yeah, incredible debut. Like, you couldn't ask for a better debut week for Rimpey because he's been all over the news.
Uh,
But my last game ball is going to Kendall Taylor. I'm sure nobody knows this name. Plays for Wingate. As you guys know, I've been going to a lot of Wingate games with El Spring, getting a gig down there. But he was a sack player of the week last week, Ward. In Tuesday's win, he had 39 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. So Kendall Taylor getting my second game ball here from the Wingate Bulldogs.
you know where Kendall Taylor is from by chance? Is he a North Carolina guy or is he?
He's a JUCO guy, so I'm not really for sure.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so he was a
Kendall,
JUCO
good
guy
for you,
last
brother.
year.
Keep doing your thing.
Yep. Shout
All
out
right.
Kendall Taylor. Shout out to the Wingate Bulldogs, man.
That's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Taylor and I have a very special segment coming up. This has been brewing for about the past month. And anyway, me and Cameron are going to go head to head and argue. And I want everybody to let us know who wins on who is the greatest single season college football team of all time. Cam is arguing for the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. I am arguing for the 2019 LSU Tigers. So we both have our cases ready. We're going to take a couple minutes each. We don't know who's going to go first. So what we're going to do live on air, Cam, if this is okay with you, we're going to flip a coin on Google's app. Okay, I'm unblurring my screen for this. We're going to flip a coin on Google. Cam, I want you to call heads or tails. I'm going to press the button, and we're going to watch it flip together, okay?
All right. Tails
Your
never
call.
fails.
Heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
Tails never fails. Okay.
Let's go.
So you want home or you want offense or defense? You want to go first or last?
I'm going to defer to the second half.
Defer to the second half. Okay.
Yep.
Pass the ball off to me, Cam. Let me borrow.
I do want to say real quick before we get into it, this is going to be like, we're going to keep going with this with different sports and different players maybe, but just want to preface that with, like, this isn't a one-time segment.
Absolutely. So Cam, let's do it, brother. So anyway, as I just mentioned, we are making a case for who is the greatest college football team of all time. And I chose the 2019 LSU Tigers. And I will go ahead and hop right into it. The reason I think one, after doing my research, everybody on every list you see, there's always, 2001 Miami Hurricanes is usually number one on every list. And this team's on there. They're usually top 3, top 4. After doing research on each team, another team that's up there, Nebraska Cornhuskers is up there. The
05 Longhorns.
Yeah, the Longhorns are on there. USC Trojans are on there. Obviously, Miami's on there. There's a few Alabama teams on there. But Cam, after doing my research, I think this LSU team is the best team in the world. Let me tell you why. So, breaking down this team, one, they defeated the defending national champions, the Clemson Tigers, 42-25 in the national championship. That's just the cherry on top of the cake. So, Cam, before we get into anything, this team, 2019, had 14 total draft picks, Cam. That ties the most in college football history to Ohio State, and I think the year was 2004. So, one, this team had the 14 first-round picks. And let's look at some of the quality of players that were on this team. One, this is the greatest offensive team in the history of college football. I don't think there's any argument there. Look at a few of the players on the team. Joe Burrow. The season Joe Burrow had that year. Greatest quarterback season of all time. He threw for 561 total yards. That broke a college football record. He had 60 touchdowns. That broke a college football record. He had 12 rushing touchdowns, and then he threw for a 202 QBR, Cam. If you're throwing for over 200 QBR, you're doing something right. So there's that. He was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Let's look at the wide receiver core. This team, this active team, or this LSU team, had 2 out of the top 3 current NFL receivers on that team. Jamar Chase on that team was the number 2 receiver. He is arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. So let's look at Justin Jefferson's numbers for that year. He had over 1,700 yards and receptions, Cam, and he had 18 total touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 1,685 total yards and 18 touchdowns. So look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, their running back. He was another first-round pick from that team. He had over 1,400 yards, and he had 10 or 11 touchdowns. So that's just offensively, Cam. And, another shout-out as well from that team, Thaddeus Moss, former NC State guy, LSU tight end. He was drafted to the Washington Redskins. So he's another offensive player from that team. When I'm not getting into the offensive line. Defense, Cam, let's get right into it. Patrick Queen was on that team. He is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. You play him twice a year. You can talk about this better than anybody. Another player, Derek Stingley. He was drafted number 3 overall, plays for the Houston Texans. He was a defensive back. I'm just going over first-round guys too, Cam. Clavion Chasen, or Chison. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name right. He was drafted number 20 to the Jaguars. Cam, a little bit about this team is they so their defensively, they only gave up 20 points per game. That's one thing. Two things. In 2019, this team beat 7 out of the 10 top 10 teams. At the end of the year, they released the AP poll of the top 10 teams. This team beat 7 out of those 10 teams. This team did not lose a game by less than 21 points, which is absolutely unheard of in a college football team. This team's in the SEC. You look at some of the teams they beat in the SEC that year. Florida only lost 2 games. Alabama was Alabama. I think Ole Miss was good that year. I was looking at it earlier. I can't remember. Georgia was good that year. They beat Georgia. I mean, they beat everybody, man. And they had a top 3 NFL quarterback on that team, and they had 2 top 3 NFL wide receivers on that team. So, Cam, if this was another world, or not another world, if this was, I wish we had the EA Sports video game and they had 2001 Miami Hurricanes versus 2019 LSU Tigers. I wish we could let the computers play each other 100 times and see who wins. But going off of all of those statistics, I think in a nutshell, in the new world of college football that we're in, there's not going to be another team, and there not is another team that has ever been better than this 2019 LSU Tigers.
Dude, you made a hell of a case there. You almost convinced me.
I like it. I like it.
No, you did an awesome job there, Ward. I'm arguing for the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. The stats, I didn't put a lot in here just because it's such a different game. Like, these teams are 20 years apart. Like, obviously, Ken Dorsey's not throwing the ball 40 times a game like Joe Burrow was, and these running backs are probably getting 40 carries a game. But this Miami team, 12-0 in the season, 7-0 in the Big East, won the national championship 37-14 over a great Nebraska team. This was Larry Coker's first year as a head coach, which is funny, Ward, both these teams, you could make a case, have 2 of the probably top 5 worst coaches to ever win a national championship, because Larry Coker later in his career was awful. Throughout the 4 years of this roster, Ward, this team produced 38 NFL draft picks, 17 of those being first rounders. They went 5-0 against AP top 15 teams throughout the season. They spent every single week of the college football season at number 1 in the AP poll. They had 6 first-team All-Americans just this season. They had 13 first-team All-Conference players just this season. So they made up more than half of the All-Conference team.
Who was in the Big East at that point that they played?
This was Louisville when they were.
Oh, okay.
This was like.
I thought they were ACC at this point. I guess they weren't.
No, it was Louisville. It was West Virginia. Notre Dame was playing conference games for the Big East at this point. Like, this was Virginia Tech was in the Big East at this point. Like, this was when Big East was a powerhouse. So, like I said, Larry Coker, National Coach of the Year. Ken Dorsey won the Maxwell Award, which is the best quarterback in the nation. They're the Big East Player of the Year in Ken Dorsey. They had an academic Heisman, and then they had the Outland Trophy for the best offensive lineman. And now I'm just going to read some of the names because I feel like this is all you need to hear to see that this is the greatest college football team of all time. In the backfield, you had Willis McGahee, Najee Davenport, Clinton Portis, and Frank Gore couldn't even play on this team, by the way. They were so far down the depth chart. You had Andre Johnson at wideout. You had Ken Dorsey at quarterback. Kellen Winslow and Jeremy Shockey at tight end. You move over to the defense, you had Antrell Roll, Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Jonathan Vilma, and Vince Wilfork, which are probably what, two Hall of Famers on that defense right there, and probably three Hall of Famers on the offense. So I feel like that's all I need to say. Like, this team, national championship team, but my thing is the talent. Like, I don't think there's ever been a greater collection of talent on a college football roster. And that is my case for the 2001 Miami Hurricanes.
I like it, Cam. I like it. Great case. And I want all of our listeners, this will be on social media. Please go vote who you think has made the better case, which team you think is better, and we'll go off from there. Cam, that was a great argument. I like it. I think that was a good segment we had.
That was fun. I'm excited to do this. We're going to do it with players. Like I said, we'll do it with the NFL team, I'm sure. Whoever gets MJ and whoever gets LeBron will be a fun one. We might have to bring a guest on and tag team the LeBron one. But
I know the time to argue now is people are starting. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes is on Tom Brady's level yet, but a lot of people are arguing that Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady. So I think my buddy, perfect example, my buddy Quentin Repnick. He was arguing with me the other night. We were watching UFC, and he was arguing with me the other night on why Patrick Mahomes is better than Brady. So that's another argument that needs to be had at some point.
Yeah, and if you guys have any suggestions for us to do or something you want to listen to, let us know. Text us, drop it in the comments. We'll put it on the list for sure. Mm-hmm. But as we move on, man, Ward, I want to see if you've heard about this, because I watched the whole thing last night and it really piqued my interest. So there's a free agent pitcher named Trevor Bauer. I'm sure you've heard of him. And then there's a guy that works for Barstool named Marty Mush.
Is that the Asian guy with glasses?
No, this is the guy that does college basketball. He's got the very New York accent, beard, hair. He did the podcast with Hunter Dickinson during the offseason.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that is.
But Marty Mush on his podcast said that he thinks that he played JUCO baseball, Ward. He thinks that if he got dropped in the MLB today, that he could hit 150.
Like a 150 batting average?
Yeah. Yeah, 150 batting average.
Interesting.
So 15 out of every 100 he gets to hit. Absolutely. So Trevor Bauer, free agent pitcher, used to be an ace in the league, used to be one of the top pitchers, had a kind of a
little fallout.
He had a fallout. Yeah, we'll say that. He goes and they're doing this like a live batting, like BP, like live BP. He's throwing real pitches, like he's topping out at 95, throwing all his stuff. Marty Mush goes 2 for 10 on him.
Wow. Okay.
And this gets posted
2 for 10 base hits, or just make contact 2 for 10?
No, base hits.
Oh, okay.
So Trevor Bauer ended with 6 Ks, but he gave up 2 hits to this guy that just got off his couch, basically. 2 questions for you, Ward. Do you think you could do better than Marty Mush? Because I know you got a baseball background. And if you're Trevor Bauer, would you post this content? Like, knowing that you're like still trying to make the major leagues, are you posting this that some Joe Schmo got 2 hits off of you?
So answer your part and 2-point question, or answer your 2-part question, Cam. 1, no, I would not be able. I have not played baseball in so long. These guys are, the fastest I ever saw was mid to high 80s. These guys are throwing mid to high 90s. Hell no, I wouldn't be able to touch the ball. I wouldn't stand near the box. But that's 1, Cam. And 2, one thing in Trevor Bauer's defense, I will say, he does this content stuff a lot. So there's a guy, I can't remember his name. It's an Asian guy with glasses.
And yes, this is who they were doing it with. Yeah.
Okay, he's a bigger guy. He's like a chubby guy.
Yeah.
And he does stuff like this with Trevor Bauer all the time. And he posts Trevor Bauer's content. Trevor, I mean, you know what they say, Cam? They say there's no such thing as bad publicity. I don't agree with that, but this seems like a lose-lose for Trevor Bauer. I would like to see this guy. 1, I don't think this guy could go in the MLB and hit 150. 1, we talked about the other day, Cam. The MLB has 162 games, and you have to do, maybe you get hot for 2 weeks. But you have to do this consistently over a 5-month span, and I just don't see that happening. The MLB statistically is the hardest thing to get into. There's so many baseball players. MLB is the hardest level to reach. So these guys are there for a reason. So answering that question, very impressive of him to get 2 hits on Trevor Bauer, but against live MLB pitchers right now, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I agree. But it was funny. Like,
It is very interesting to see, though, dude. Very
and
interesting.
if you haven't watched the video, go watch it because it's a cool dynamic of like you see the pitch and then Trevor goes through what he was thinking for that pitch, what he wants to set Marty up with next.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're being honest, like if you watch the video, the first hit Marty Mush gets, it's like he slices a driver playing golf, and it just so happens to land in between the first baseman and the outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
But he did hit a really good line drive later in the video. So I think it's definitely luck, but it's a very cool video to see what Trevor Bauer's thinking.
Yeah.
I do think though bad luck to be like wanting to play professional baseball and some barstool employee getting two
Yeah.
hits on.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you watch, man, Trevor Bauer, he's dealing like some of his stuff that he was throwing. It's like, dude, how does anybody in the world hit that pitch? But yeah, like I said, check it out. It was a super cool video.
Mm-hmm.
Not as cool of a video, Ward. Cam Newton, 5-on-1, gets jumped at his own 7-on-7 event in Atlanta.
Yeah. Not a good look.
I think this goes to show you guys, though, that 6'6", 250-pound former quarterback, like, you're not beating that guy up.
Hell
I don't
no.
care if you got 5 dudes or not. Like, that guy is a million times the athlete that all of you are combined. Like, don't mess with a professional athlete. Cam Newton's used to throwing 350-pound guys off of him. Like, probably not the guy you want to mess with.
Some little smucks ain't going to do much to him. I can tell you that. And I thought it was really cool. One, it's sad to see. I'm not sure what led up to it. What I heard on ESPN, I was listening to Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith talk about it on ESPN this morning when I was working. And they were talking about how big this guy is and how much of a problem he was for NFL running backs or NFL quarterback or linebackers. And it's sad to see, man. Like, I don't know. So apparently what started it is there was a fight that broke out near him and he tried to break it up. And then when he tried to break up that fight, something happened. I don't know. But Cam, one thing I thought that was interesting out of it, you see that big old hat. That hat don't move, my friend.
Didn't move an
Cam
inch.
Newton's not getting hit. I think there's a lot more pushing going on. But where's the security, man? Like, that's my question. And there's a good clear cut, like 20, 30-second video. Nobody's around, like where Cam Newton has to have guys. He doesn't go to this alone. Like, where are all his buddies at? Who are your true friends? I don't know.
I will say, like, as a guy who played in Charlotte and he was very involved in the community, Cam Newton runs his mouth a lot. Even like when we play high school games, like he'd be getting into it with people in the stands. And it's like, dude, you're Cam Newton. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But I mean, at his event, that whole deal. Definitely sad to see, but put up a hell of a fight. I did see the guys that it kind of started with did an interview, which what a cop out move going to the media to try to save face. But they said that Cam started it, and like you can watch the video and very clearly see that he didn't start
it.
But just a sad situation. But probably the biggest story in sports right now. So we kind of have to talk.
Yeah, we have to talk about it. Absolutely. The next topic we're going to talk about are the two biggest stories in sports.
Yeah. Ward, real quick on record, you versus Cam Newton, door locked. Who's walking out?
Cam Newton's walking out. I can tell you that. Cam Newton's a professional athlete. Cam Newton wins by however the hell he wants.
But like you said, Ward, this is probably the biggest story in sports, and we talked about it last night on the Fat Katz Live a pretty decent amount. If you guys haven't seen, I think the night before the shows, I'm going to start doing live streams. One to tell stories just to get something out and to talk to you guys, but also to see what you guys want us to talk about. But yeah, we have a lot of court storming takes within the Fat Cats Nation, Ward. What this stems from, Wake Forest beat Duke on their home court. Fans rush the court, obviously, as they just beat the Duke Blue Devils. Cal Filipowski bumps knees with the fans storming the court. John Shire obviously pissed off in his post-game press conference, and now we're starting to get some of the heat from the national guys saying, like, this needs to stop. Like, we can't do court storming anymore. Just on the heels of Caitlin Clark. Same thing happened to her after they lost. I have a very strong opinion about this, Ward, but I want to know what your thoughts on the whole Cal Filipowski thing is and overall what your thoughts on court storming are.
I'm going to quote one of my best friends on this. My friend Cameron Taylor says, if you don't want it to happen, don't let it happen. If you don't want the fans to storm the court, don't lose. That's all I gotta say, Cam.
It's that simple to me, and I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it because I didn't have to. Like, if you don't want people storming the court, don't lose the basketball game. Like, and these people, Jay Billis and Jay Williams saying, well, if they storm the court, lock the doors and arrest all of them.
Yeah.
What, you gonna take 10,000 people to jail, Jay?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're
not going to stop
because Cam, you've been to enough college basketball games. Half the security working there are those little. I can't remember the securities. It's a security company that hires college students. Yes. Again, they pay them $50 a game. You're telling me 100 security guards, 200 security guards, say we'll give them 200 at the high end. We're going to stop 15,000 fans storming that court. I can tell you right now, NC State plays Chapel Hill in Raleigh in 2 weekends. I guarantee you, if we beat Chapel Hill, NC State's rushing the court, and those securities just stopping nothing. So, I think maybe what the outcome that's going to come out of this, Cam, is if your fans storm the court, they're going to fine the university like $25,000.
Well, and the SEC already does that. And
do they?
Let me tell you what, these kids don't care. You think they ain't, this is not their money.
No,
you're not, and you're not going to stop these college students from storming the court. Let me just say that.
Especially after they tailgate a little bit, and they have liquid courage, and somebody, good luck.
And let's use our heads here. There's 4 programs that if you beat them, you're storming the court. It's Kansas, it's Kentucky, it's Carolina, and it's Duke. And then there's a few, like if there's a top 5 team and it's a rivalry game, they'll do it. Like Purdue this year, if Indiana would have beat them, they would have stormed the court. That's what Indiana losers do. No. But like there's only 4 programs that you're storming. So like if you're Kentucky, you're Kansas, you're Carolina, you're Duke, if you lose a game on the road, they're storming the court. Like everybody that was wearing a Duke uniform knew that if Wake Forest wins this basketball game, they're storming the court immediately.
Absolutely.
So run off the court.
Absolutely.
Get off the court. Like
absolutely. That's one, and Cam 2, kind of talking about that game. Did you watch that game by chance, or what? Not even the game. The last.
I watched the last end.
The last 2 minutes of it. What the hell type of coaching what was that by Duke? That just was bad coaching. How do you turn the ball over twice with 30 seconds left in the game?
Yeah,
it just doesn't happen, man. Especially that last play when their point guard threw it to Filipowski. I believe I pronounced his name right.
Tyrese Proctor.
Yeah, when Proctor threw it to Filipowski, and like, what do y'all do? What drawn up play is that? Duke this is one of the most historic programs in college basketball. They are blue blood, Cam, just like you say. You got to have a better play than that. So I don't know what's going on. Shire I don't know if that was just bad coaching on his part or what, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely a huge loss for Duke. And I don't know if you guys knew this. First time since 2005 that Wake Forest has been favored over Duke in a basketball game.
Wow.
So
I didn't know they were favored.
They were 2.5-point favorites for 78% of the public money was on Duke plus 2.5.
Wake Forest is sneaky, man. Wake Forest is a good basketball team. They're gonna be sneaky in March.
Yeah, watch Hunter Salas, man. That guy, former Kentucky target, went to Gonzaga for 2 years. He's awesome. He's a really good guard. He's gonna be a pro. But yeah, this Wake Forest team is tough. But back to the court storm. I mean, like, you can't stop it. And I'll say too, like, the NBA wishes that they had stuff like that. They wish people cared enough about the NBA that people would storm the court.
Yeah.
And college basketball is trying to get rid of it. Like, these leagues want what college basketball has. They want the fans to be this passionate about their leagues, and they're not. And it feels like the NCAA is doing everything they can to get rid of that. Mm-hmm. So that's just my 2 cents. I think getting rid of court storming, like, these are traditions in college sports that shouldn't be touched. And that's all I have to say. If you disagree, let us know. I'd love to hear other people.
Please do let us know. Absolutely.
Because I know, like, a lot of people our age, Ward, are like, what are you talking about getting rid of court storming? But some older people, like I've talked to, don't like it. So I'd love to hear what people have to say.
And I've never had the opportunity to storm the court either. I'd always wanted to, but maybe I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely a dangerous thing. Like, you put that many people, but concerts in the mosh pit, you think that's not dangerous? Are we calling to get rid of the mosh pit at concerts or the whatever? I mean, you put a lot of people in a small space, like, it's going to be dangerous.
Couldn't agree more, brother. Could not agree more.
keeping it in basketball, Clippers, Ward, unveiled their new uniforms and
Idiots.
logo for this upcoming year. They've got a new stadium being built in LA, so they're not sharing the Staples Crypto.com arena with the Lakers anymore. Gonna have to clear out those 3 banners that the Clippers have hanging up for winning the conference. But yeah, going to a new stadium. Steve Ballmer wants to full reset. So new uniforms, new logo. You already got Ward's take. Ward, do you want to add anything to that's terrible that you already gave us?
Yeah, no, I thought they could have done a better job with the new logo looks awful. Like I thought the old logo looked good. I mean, why they're going to like a navy blue now? I'm just not that big of a fan of it. I thought the red and blue looked really good together. But I do think it's a good idea. I'm glad they're getting their own stadium. I do think it's time for them to rebrand. Because everybody when they think of when you think of the Staples Center or Crypto Center, what do you think of?
Los Angeles Lakers.
You think of Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. You don't think of Paul George and the Los Angeles Clippers, Cam. So
tell me you don't think of Elton Brand when you think LA.
Sorry, I thought of James Harden when I thought LA. I apologize. But anyway, good for them. I do think they kind of butchered the jerseys, but we'll see, man. People aren't going to be talking about this and they are good. I think they're one of the best teams in the West right now, correct?
Yeah, they are.
We'll
finally hit their stride. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see them make a move, see what happens.
This is a problem, like a much bigger problem for me in sports as a general, or sports in general. We're moving towards this weird thing of like really simplistic logos, like circles and like just kind of clean cut logos.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, go look at those 2000 like 90s, 2000s logos and uniforms and tell me that's not like the peak of sports. Like there's a reason when the NFL and the NBA bring back these throwback logos and these throwback jerseys, everybody loves them because they're a million times better. Like, I don't know what happened where we got away from just having cool, unique logos and uniforms. Like, we don't want everybody to look the same. We want to have like there's no like the Timberwolves or one that I think of like right off the top. That new Timberwolves logo compared to the ones where KG was there and those uniforms and with Spreewell and all those guys. What a downgrade. The Utah Jazz. Go look at those uniforms.
The old Jazz ones were smooth. Yeah.
Even like
the Raptors, the old Raptors are the cool ones.
Like go look when Carlos Boozer and Deron Williams were playing for the Jazz and tell me that those uniforms are not a gazillion times better than the goofy ones they wear now.
Yeah.
I mean,
what about the Bobcats?
Bobcats had cooler uniforms than the Hornets have right now. But I mean, I'm a uniform guy though, Ward. Like that, it doesn't like that's a big deal to me. Like I think that those are cool. So I would like to get back to the point. Like even Kentucky wears their throwback 94, 90 or 93, 94 uniforms on the road, and they're a million times better than their home uniforms.
I know even when it comes to NFL, you look at some of the NFL throwbacks, pretty cool. Like the Dolphins have a really cool throwback jersey.
The Dolphins, the Patriots have awesome throwback uniforms. The Seahawks this year,
Falcons have cool uniforms.
So I'm not opposed to just going back to what we had, Ward.
Yeah,
that stuff was awesome. The stuff we have now is not like
too
even
futuristic.
The
Steelers. They gotta advance somehow though. It's how they make money at the end of the day. The way that teams make money is rebranding. So they put look at the Washington. You know how much money the Washington Commanders have made from switching to the Redskins, to the football team, to the Commanders. Because people like me have to have the newest jerseys. They're gonna spend $150 on a jersey. So
I get it, but like,
from that point of view,
even my Steelers. Like, go look at my Steelers uniforms. These rounded numbers they have since Ben started. Like, go back to the damn block letters, man. Like, block numbers.
Hey, I like the Bumblebee jerseys.
Yeah, I don't know about those. I do have one of those, by the way. I'll just show everybody. But, yeah, I just think as a whole in sports, uniforms could be so much better.
Yeah.
That's a hill that I'll probably die on. Keeping it within uniforms, Ward. Have you seen the stuff going on with the MLB and their new uniforms?
I have not. No, I didn't even know they got
new uniforms. The MLB was sponsored by Nike last year. They still have the Nike patches on their new uniforms, but Fanatics is making the uniforms for them now. Okay. If you don't know what Fanatics is, it's like a fan website where you can get the gear and everything for your respective teams. But they took over the rights for the uniforms for the MLB this year. Were none of the players like them. They said they feel cheap. You look, they're not stitching on the numbers and the patches. They're pressing them on. Like no stitching, nothing. When they close their jerseys, the buttons, like the logo, like especially like the Dodgers, the letters don't match up. Like there's a gap where you button
No
up.
way. I have to look into that.
Like go look at Shohei Ohtani signing. He's got the jersey button up, and there's a huge gap from the letters. The white pants Ward are see through. So there's a lot of stuff on Twitter going around. Like these guys, like you can see it all. Like there's no hiding it. So bad that the Reds Ward have gone to a local place that like makes uniforms for like little league teams and has gotten them to redo their pants.
Wow.
So the guys will wear them. But the MLB's got a lot of stuff going on. But I just thought the uniform gate is crazy. I can't believe that we can't get good uniforms for MLB players.
No, you're right, man. Wow, I didn't know all of that. That's very interesting.
Look into it. I mean, don't look at the the naked guys under their white pants, but look into it. It's weird.
We all know what Cam's been looking at on his time not recording the Fat Cats.
Don't look at my likes on Twitter right now because real quick, our boy Shane Gillis got reintroduced to SNL. Ward, did you get a chance to watch it?
I did not. Is it funny?
It was really good. His monologue was a little bit iffy. It's just his set that he's been doing the past few months. But some of the skits were hilarious. Some of them were.
Shane Gillis is a funny guy.
Yeah, and if you don't know the story, Shane Gillis is a stand-up comic. Got hired by SNL. Within 48 hours, got fired from SNL for a clip from his podcast, and is now re-hosting SNL. So pretty cool.
What was the clip? What did he say?
I'm not going to say it on here, but it's not hard to find. I'll say that. Huge news in the NFL award. Vikings reportedly shopping Jay Jettis for draft compensation. Justin Jefferson, probably the best receiver in the NFL. You just talked about 20 minutes ago. Vikings. I mean, what's the price tag look for Justin Jefferson right now? And if you're a team like, you're chomping at the bit to get Justin Jefferson on your football team, right?
Oh yeah, and I guarantee you somehow if he does end up in a new team, he's going to be on the Chiefs, he's going to be on the 49ers. Like these teams are going to continue to get better. But I've heard that. I think the Vikings are absolutely stupid. They get rid of Justin Jefferson. He is the best wide receiver in the NFL. And also, there's some rumor going around that the Vikings are rumored to give Kirk Cousins up to $89 million on a 2-year deal. So if you're going to give a high 30s quarterback that much money, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. And if I were the one making decisions in Minnesota, these aren't the decisions that I would make. I would give Justin Jefferson a blank check and say, write whatever the hell you want and tell me what you want and I'll get it around you. But that's me, Cam. I'm not a general manager.
Well, I mean, if you're going to pay Kirk Cousins, you got to keep Justin Jefferson around. Like,
absolutely. Kirk Cousins would be nothing without Justin Jefferson.
Absolutely not. And I mean, can you think of a team?
Jordan Addison's good, but he ain't that good.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Can you think of a better team like that's more quarterback ready? Like you're just a quarterback away than the Vikings. Like you've got 2 awesome receivers. You've got a good offensive line. Well, Commanders, I guess. If you want, I mean, I don't know.
I'm just kidding. We don't have an offensive line.
That was a lot of bad football to say you're quarterback away. But yeah, man, getting rid of Justin Jefferson. I mean, I'd like to see just like I'd like to be a fly on the wall for some of those phone calls. Like, how many draft picks are you asking for?
I would assume it's the starting price is 3.
Like if you're the Chiefs,
3 first plus more.
Like if the Chiefs are calling, like what? Like, I mean, I don't want to pick at 32 every year for the best receiver in college in the NFL.
I would say the Chiefs are going to have to give up for somebody like that. They're going to have to give up like a Chris Jones and 3 first or I don't know.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but
it's going to be a big price tag. But I mean, if I mean, the Chiefs would make sense because you've got Mahomes locked up. You've got a lot of these younger guys locked up for the rookie deals. Like now is the best time to make a splash while you've got the cap. I mean, because I don't think they're going to re-sign Chris Jones.
Yep.
You want to talk about a price tag on a guy. He's going to be getting 25, 30 M's
At
as an
least.
interior defensive
He'll
lineman.
reset the market again. I can tell you that. He'll be the highest paid interior defensive lineman.
Don't tell Chiefs Kingdom that anybody's going to reset the market, buddy. But real quick, one more piece of news. Eric Bieniemy, what a career arc for Eric Bieniemy. He's going to UCLA.
I hate it for him.
Yeah, going to UCLA to be the offense coordinator and associate head coach. Talking about a guy who was Andy Reid's OC for years, just basically ready to handpick his head coaching job, and now 4 years later, he's UCLA's offense coordinator.
Yeah, not really. I'm glad he ended up somewhere. I'm glad. I thought he was gonna. I don't think he would have. I don't know what job he would have gotten in college, to be honest with you, or in the NFL. I thought, has UCLA hired a head coach yet?
I'm not for sure.
I don't think they. I don't know if they have or not. But
I thought it was PJ Fleck for a minute, but let me look.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious why he. If they haven't, that makes absolutely no sense to me. But man, this guy has won 2 Super Bowls. He had I think the worst decision he could have made was coming to us, and he did. He was doing all right for us at one point. He started out doing well for us, and then he just started calling some bad games second half of the year, man. And it just didn't go well for him. But I hope the best for him. I don't want his career to be blamed on Washington. I hope he's able to rebound.
So UCLA on Tuesday announced that Deshaun Foster will be their head football coach.
Who is that?
From Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Played running back in the NFL. He's the former assistant coach at UCLA and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. He's only 44 years old, Ward.
Wow. That's about the same age as Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy's pretty young, too.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not familiar with Deshaun's work as a coach, but congrats to him.
Good for him.
Ward, you tell me if you want to talk about this or not. I promise you won't hurt my feelings if you don't. I read an article yesterday that former athletes who suffer from depression and head injuries are now taking mushrooms and psychedelics from the doctors post-career to help with their depression and head injuries. Is that something that you want to give your opinion on as a doctor?
I don't know much about them, man, so I wouldn't be able to speak much on it. If you want to dive into it, you can. I don't know anything about it.
I don't have much to say either. I just wanted to see if
interesting. I didn't know that. Very interesting. But
would you be willing to test your brain against the psychedelic?
No, I'm not. No, but the only mushrooms I eat is mushrooms on a steak or on a mushroom Swiss burger. None of the mushrooms that grow out of cow shit.
Gotcha. Real quick, we'll run through college hoops real quick. St. John's absolutely dog walks number 12 Creighton 80-66 in the Garden.
After Creighton just beat UConn and the way they beat UConn. Wow.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, the Big East is
St. John's is Rick Pitino, right?
Yeah. After those comments. So after the game, Ward, they asked him about those comments. He's doubled down twice since he said them, by the way. They finally win a game. They beat Creighton. He said, listen, guys, this is the closest team I've ever had. I just said that to rile them up. So Rick Pitino,
St. John's may be a sneaky team in that round of 64. That might be a little sneaky team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to see St. John's, especially Rick Pitino, coach St. John's. But UNC beats UVA 54 to like 59, I think. And then they also beat Miami 75-71 last night. Ward, at the same time, this UNC UVA game's going on where it's 59-54. Kentucky at the same time is also playing Alabama, where the final score ends up being 117-97. Can you believe that's the same sport? Alabama shot 54% from the field and scored 97 points in the last
Big win for y'all, dude. Big win for y'all.
Huge win. The Cats go to Starkville tonight, so keep your eyes on that. And then we talked about earlier, Wingate. You guys know I've been going a lot since El Spring got that gig. They extend their 5-game winning streak. They're trending towards winning the regular season SAC, and they're on pace for head coach's Brian Good's best season as the head coach. Mm-hmm. So that's your Fat Cats College Hoops update. We've got a few prospects to go over. We've got picks of the week real quick, and then we'll get you guys out of here.
Cam, real quick before we get into this. So I was talking with my buddies that play D3 basketball, and do you know how many automatic bids are in the NCAA tournament? We were talking about how hard it is to make the NCAA tournament if you don't win a conference. And I looked it up. I just want to see. There's 32 automatic bids.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that means 32 teams get in that don't win conferences. There's only 5 Power 5 conference. Basketball, I guess you get the Big East. You got, I don't
Technically
know.
Power 6, yeah.
Power 6, yeah. But I mean, still, man. And then you got to think about the teams that don't win it. So, like, perfect example, the SEC. Out of the SEC, say Kentucky wins. Alabama's getting in. Auburn's getting in. Is Ole Miss still playing really good?
Tennessee, Ole Miss.
Yeah, you got to think of that's 5
probably.
right there, and there's only 32 more teams that get in. It's just crazy how hard it is to actually get in, and all those teams are ranked, by the way, that I just mentioned. So you got to think about it. Out of the teams that don't win their conference, the rest of the top 25 is going to get in, and then you just got to think about how hard it is to get into this NCAA tournament. I just thought that was really interesting.
Well, that's why, like when you're in a smaller conference, like Western, for example, like it's more important to win your conference tournament than to win the conference regular season, because the tournament's the only way you're getting the auto bid. That's why Chat for all those years was so good, because I mean they'd be third in the regular season. They go win the conference tournament. So,
and the reason why this got brought up is, my buddy. I have a buddy, his team, he played at Hampton-Sydney University. They are the number 1 team in Division III college basketball. And anyway, they just won their conference. First time they've won their conference since like 2014 or something like that. And in D3 basketball, there's over 50 conferences. So there's not many teams that aren't getting automatic bids. So if you don't win your conference, it's very hard to get in.
Gotcha.
Thought that was interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, tough to get in the dance, and even tougher to win the dance. Probably the most difficult tournament to win in sports. If I had a
I think so too.
Let's see.
This round of 16 or the 12 team college football playoffs can be interesting.
It's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited for it. It's just hard for me to believe.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like March Madness.
You're never going to get a St. Peter's run in college football. Like, there's never going to be a time where Kentucky, for example, is going to go to the Final Four.
I'm excited for us to get into our March Madness talk, by the way, but we're gonna have to pick 2 or 3 teams that is a 12 seed or under that's going to make a run.
Okay,
I like that.
I like that. I'm excited, man. March just around the corner. Next episode will be in March.
Yeah.
Next episode will be like 3 days away from getting sports betting in North Carolina, by the way, as well. But yeah, Ward, I'll start us off with Bam's top dogs real quick. I got 2 Kentucky guys on this list, probably the only 2 Kentucky guys that'll get drafted. But I'm going to start us off with Trevin Wallace. He's a 6'1", 244-pound off-ball linebacker, former 4-star linebacker out of South Georgia. Probably going to go run low 4.4s at the combine this week. Just real quick, great instincts, has the notes for the football. He does struggle getting off blocks in the box, but he's great sideline to sideline and really good in coverage. I've got some best fits for him. I think the Eagles will be an awesome fit for him. The Broncos, the Vikings, and the Seahawks would all be good landing spots for Wildcat Trevin Wallace.
I like it. And Trevin Wallace is actually on my list too. I figured you were going to write him, so I didn't take him. But Cam, real quick before I get into this, not sure if you've been on FanDuel at all lately. My uncle told me about this. If you live in North Carolina and you go on FanDuel, every day you get a free bet for up to $25. So you have to pick. Have you been doing that?
I have, yeah.
Have you hit any of them?
Not yet.
I haven't either.
I've just been doing it like the past 2 days.
Okay, well, I picked the Hornets I picked the Trailblazers to beat the Hornets. I think that was yesterday. I lost. I just got a new bet, and it was the Bucks and the Hornets play. The over/under is 20 or 224.5 points. I bet the under. So we'll see what happens. But Cam, sorry to cut you off. I only have 2 prospects this week, ladies and gentlemen. My first prospect is going to be Kyrie Jackson. He's a defensive back from the University of Oregon. He was an Alabama transfer, and the reason why I think he is going to be very good in the NFL is because he is a rare breed nowadays. This guy's a man-to-man, in-your-face press corner. A lot of the corners that we see now are going to be your zone corners. They're playing back on you. They're 8 yards back. They're breaking on the ball. This guy's going to be man-to-man, in-your-face zone corner, or man-to-man, in-your-face corner. You don't see these kind of corners anymore. Apparently, he's the number 1 man corner in the class this year. So because of that, I do think he's going to make an impact in the NFL. He's my first prospect we're going over this week.
I like it. maybe not a ringing endorsement, but he reminds me a lot of Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah.
Tall, lanky, rangy corner,
Yeah.
loves man. He's going to get in your face. He's going to let you know about it. And I'm not giving up on Emmanuel Forbes. I think he's going to be awesome. My second guy, and I've got three more. Ray Davis, another Wildcat. I figured I'd get him all out of the way this episode. He's 5'8", 220-pound running back. Played at Temple, played at Vandy, played at Kentucky. And just adds to the string of running backs that Kentucky's produced for the NFL. Reminds me a lot of Chris Rodriguez, but he's got better feet. Low center of gravity, great balance. Again, incredible feet. Not a lot of top end speed. Like he's going to break off, 15, 20-yard runs, but he's probably not going to break off that 60, 70-yard run. Player comp for him, for me, very, very poor man's Le'Veon Bell. They play the same. I don't think he's got as good a vision as Le'Veon did, but when you watch him run, very similar. Not great breakaway speed, but they make a lot of guys miss. Best fits for him, to me, Rams, Niners, Bengals, Titans, Bucks, Panthers. Anybody that needs a running back, if we're being honest. Or a backup running back with an older guy. So
I don't know. Ray Davis reminds me more of a what was that guy's name? He played for Kansas State. He plays on the Cowboys now.
Deuce Vaughn?
Deuce Vaughn is who he reminds me of. He's just short, stocky, quick. I don't know. He reminds me of Deuce Vaughn. Cam, my next one this week, and this guy is going to be he'll be a day one pick. He's projected right now mid to late day one. His name is Rome Odunze. He's a wide receiver for Washington. Didn't watch this guy play this much, Cam. Not gonna lie. I watched him in the national championship. Or in the college football playoff. He played really good against Texas. National championship, he didn't do too much. But full stats on this guy, Cam. So one, he's 6'3", 215. People compare him to a Calvin Johnson. He's a big DK Metcalf. He's a big in-your-face guy. He's fast. He has a 4.4 40 speed. He was paired with a when you're a Heisman or a Heisman finalist quarterback's wide receiver one, usually you're going to be pretty good going into the draft, Cam. So this guy, he had 92 receptions this year for over 1,600 yards, and he had 16 touchdowns receiving. Obviously, his team went to the national championship. He was the wide receiver one. So I think this guy has a very good opportunity to do something in the NFL, and he's one of my big Wards pick. He's one of my Wards winners.
There you go. Rome Odunze, a huge prospect out of Washington. I've seen him projected as high as 6 more to the Giants.
I have not seen him that high. I thought last I saw he was number 3.
He's wide receiver 3 behind Neighbors and Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
But extreme talent.
Hey, what about your boy from Missouri? When are you going to cover him?
He's not coming out. He's a true sophomore.
Is he staying? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he's a true sophomore. So
okay.
He'll be coming out next year. I'll stand by it. He was the best player in college football last year. But moving on from me, Sed Van Pran from Georgia. Just going to go ahead and get the last center out of the way. 6'4", 310 pounds. I've told you guys he's my center number 3 right now. Super high IQ. He's a multi-year starter for Georgia. Great strength within his track, and what that means is, within his line of vision to where he can be within his body, he's very strong. Now, like when he has to go off script and maybe take a different angle to a guy, he's not as great. But if you're in this guy's way, he's gonna hurt you. Great hands at the point of attack. He's got a great. He just moves bodies, Ward. He does have bad hips. He tries to finish block so much that he gets off balance, and he needs a lot of help in pass pro. But if you take this guy, like you're getting a scheme versatile center, so, and a big body who moves people. So Sed Van Pran, I like him a lot. I just don't think he has the high end, the ceiling as a Zach Frazier or JPJ.
I like it. And you can get into your next one, Cam.
Today. My fault. Last one, Ricky Pearsall. He's a 6 foot, 193-pound slot receiver out of Florida, formerly at Arizona State under Herm Edwards. Jada Daniels was his quarterback. Johnny Wilson played with him. Also Brandon Ayuk on that team. But pure slot receiver with vertical ability, great at making contested catches. He's got really good in and out of breaks. He's a mismatch if he's used correctly. Like if you put safeties or linebackers on him, he's going to eat them up. He does struggle at the line of scrimmage when he's pressed up on, so just getting free releases helps him a lot. So that's why you saw Florida, he's in motion a lot. He's in stacks a lot, just trying to get him off the line. And then doesn't have breakaway speed, so like he's not a guy who you're going to just dump the ball off to and he's going to take it to the house. But
and where does this guy play at? I missed that. I'm sorry.
Plays at Florida.
Florida, okay.
Yeah. So Ricky Pearsall, he's an awesome receiver.
Awesome. And Cam, unfortunately, I do not have any bets this week. If you want to run through your bets very quickly, we can get out of here.
Yeah, real quick, and we'll get out of here. Bam's bad beats. I got Kentucky plus 3.5 tonight in Starkville. Wisconsin is 4-point favorites over Indiana. Wake Forest is 6.5-point favorites over Notre Dame. And the Phil and Frisky lay. Robert Dillingham over 13.5 points tonight. Antonio Reeves over 2.5 3-pointers made tonight. UK's team total over 76.5. UK money line, all for a plus 1381. That's $10 to win $138. And Ward, that is episode 44 of the Fat Katz podcast.
I like it, Cam. And also, why am I getting so much heat? I forgot to ask you about this. Why am I getting so much heat about thinking Riley's good at the MLB team? Everybody's giving me hell about this. And I
know, man.
WRAL, man. Local Raleigh news talks about it every day. And my brother just texts me, all my buddies at work, like, what the hell are you talking about? We're not getting a team. Everyone's like, Vegas is getting a team. I'm like, Vegas just got the the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Idiots. But
man, that's you, man. You can't open your mouth without people getting on.
I know. People just what is it, Cam?
I think
people don't
jealous.
Come at you. Why does everybody come at me all the time?
I think they're jealous of you, Ward.
I think so too. I think they're jealous because I got the best podcast partner in the whole world.
Hey, that's me, man. Take a look in the mirror. That's the best podcast host in the world right there. But this was, again, episode 44 of the Fat Katz podcast. I want to remind everybody, find us on Spotify and YouTube at the Fat Katz podcast. That's KATZ. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at Fat Katz Pod. Shout out Joe again. Shout out Justin again. If you guys want your pictures uploaded, send them our way. 200 follower giveaway. Don't forget to get your merch, man. See you guys for episode 44. Ward, pleasure as always, my friend.
Pleasure as always. And Cam, nobody listens this far. If anybody made it this far, if you comment on our pod, on our either our Spotify or our YouTube, if you comment your favorite number, I will Venmo you $10. Caps off at 3 people. So, Cam, do not post this. If anybody made it this far and you comment a number, I will Venmo you $10. So we'll see.
First 3 people.
First three people to comment gets $10 straight from me.
I'll tell you what, I'll match that, and I'll give you a slap on the bootay next time I see you if you comment your favorite number.
Cool. Hey, if you made it this far, I owe you a beer, and I owe you $10. Cam, always a pleasure, brother.
All right, buddy. Y'all be good.
Peace.
Peace.